Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 314. I'm Phil Graham. Today, I'm going to be sharing my ultimate 3-step Facebook ads and marketing funnel. So this funnel is amazing. And the cool thing is it can be done with just about any budget, whether you have a small ad budget or a large budget. And it's very powerful because it's strategic. Most people are just randomly running ads, and that's a big reason why they fail. You've got to be strategic and focused with how you run ads. Now, this funnel has worked amazing for us, and I cannot wait to share it with you in today's episode. So before we jump into that, there's a little bit of AI news as it relates to Facebook that I wanted to share with you, and also just give you a little bit of a warning about it as well. Facebook has been rolling out something called AI Sandbox tools to just a small select group of advertisers. And we've been checking it out, and it's interesting. There's 3 things specifically you can do with it. You can create some variations of your ad text. You can also play with the background and change that up. And then images, the thing I like the most is it can take an image and kind of transform that to look right on every placement, whether it's vertical or horizontal. That part's really cool. So right now it's just available to a very small amount of advertisers. It's probably going to be a while until it rolls out. It's pretty cool. But a lot of people are going to be making a mistake when this comes out, just like they are with other forms of AI. And they're just going to assume that this is all they need. They can just use this and it'll magically work. Here's the thing. You've got to have good stuff to put into it. You've got to be highly skilled to use this AI stuff to make it work for ads. The highly skilled people that are really good at advertising using AI is going to be an unbeatable combination. But people that are not really that good at ads and just using AI and trying to compete, they're going to have a tough time. So you got to be really careful, because right now AI is such a hot topic. There is a lot of scammers out there when it comes to this. So be careful with all that stuff. I'm going to be giving you great information when it comes to using AI for your marketing, for your Facebook ads, how we're using it, how we're going to use it in the future, and how we're going to leverage that. But don't forget, you got to be highly skilled to do the input to get the output that you want. It's super important. But when you do, holy crap, it's amazing. Lots of potential. So it's an exciting time. There's going to be a lot more from me on AI very soon. So keep listening to this podcast, and I got you covered. And by the way, if you guys do want some one-on-one coaching to learn ads the right way, whether it's specific to Facebook ads or maybe also on Google or YouTube or marketing related. So whether you're looking for some coaching or if you actually want ads run for you, just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. We can do a short Zoom call, and I would love to connect. So let's jump right in. I want to share my ultimate 3-step Facebook ad funnel because it is so powerful. So step number 1 is building inexpensive awareness ads. And this is for primarily the top of the funnel. And it's going to be using 2 different types of audiences. One of them is using broad audiences, and the other one is using what I call micro content audiences. So here's what you do in step 1. The goal is to get a lot of awareness and eyeballs to what you're doing. And so broad audiences obviously can help you do that. So that essentially means a large amount of people that are not super targeted. So it's kind of casting a wide net. So that would be, for example, in this funnel, that would be one of the ads. The second ad, or third or fourth, because we do many, but the second type of ad would be micro content ads. And what that is it's very specific, segmented targeting. So instead of targeting a broad audience, you're going to target a much more specific, smaller audience than the large one. And you're going to narrow that down by things like demographics, things they're interested in, and behaviors that they have. Micro content ads, that's like one of our secret sauces, because when you really hone in and focus on some of that specific targeting that you can do, and then you match your ad copy to the types of people you're targeting, that is so powerful. So step one is combining running both broad ads and micro content ads. You're going to run both of those at the top of the funnel. Now, we also in step one test different placements. So we definitely do ads that run everywhere, but I also like to test mobile only. So I've got some that just go to mobile. And then another one I've been loving recently is Reels only. So Instagram Reels only. And then we also have a non-Reels one as well. So we also run these ads to different placements, and that helps us a lot because usually a couple of these just stand out and crush it and others don't. And so then we can scale the ones that work. And it's not always the same ones, which is why you really have to test these different placements. So another part of this step one is testing different ad objectives. So many people only use the sales and conversions objective. But a lot of times in this first step, testing something like traffic or video views can work even better than sales or conversions, because our goal is to get inexpensive awareness, at least as inexpensive as we can anyway. And sometimes these other objectives can help get you there quicker. Not always. We definitely do lots of sales and conversion type ads. However, for this funnel, I'm telling you right now, sometimes traffic works way better. So you really got to test it. And the answer is, don't just do one. Test a few different options and let data be your guide to what you should do more of. Don't pigeonhole yourself into just one objective. Then when it comes to creatives for this step, we're still in part one, trying to cover as much as I can, as quick as I can. But when it comes to creatives, you want to stick to my formula. You want to educate, you want to entertain, inspire, and differentiate with your ad. Now that includes your ad copy that you put in there, and it also includes either your image or your videos that you do as your ads. All of that stuff should do that, should educate, entertain, inspire, differentiate. You want to be different and stand out. Don't look at what other people are doing so you can do similar. Look at what they're doing so you can do something that looks completely different so you do stand out and cut through the noise. And then you also want to leverage video ads. You guys have probably heard me talk about this before, but video ads are my favorite ads to run because they accelerate the know, like, and trust factor so good. It's so effective when you do it right. And it gives you multiple retargeting opportunities and can be really cost effective. And then lastly, for this step one, I really like the micro content ads better than the broad ads. I still do plenty of broad audiences too, but for me, the micro content, the segmented targeting, meaning that we're doing tight targeting where we're targeting specific types of people, specific demographics, and then we're matching our content. I call that micro content. We're matching the content to who we're targeting. And that could be based off of pain point, demographics, or many other things. That can be so powerful. Very few people do this. When you do it, it can be amazing. And it's a lot of stuff to test. So if you don't have a large budget, just start with one and test one and then work your way up. This can be done on any budget. But if you roll through these steps, everything I mentioned in step one, all this stuff, for us, it is insanely powerful. And I highly recommend you guys try this out. So that's step one of our three-part funnel. Let's jump into step two. So in step one, we focused on getting as much awareness as we can for the least amount of money, testing different creatives and audiences and objectives and placements. Now, in step two, we do what I call our broad and segmented strategic retargeting. So most of you guys know this, but retargeting is essentially getting back in front of people that have seen your ads before and or visited your website before, things like that. So there's many different types of retargeting audiences that we do. One of them is broad. So we'll retarget everything but the kitchen sink. Everybody who's visited our website, watched our videos, or followed our page, clicked our links, any or all of the above. So that's going to pretty much capture a lot of different people in that retargeting audience. So that would be a broad retargeting. And so when we're doing that, our ad copy has to be kind of broad because we're not exactly sure if you have different products or services, which one they were specifically interested in when it's so broad, but it's still really important to get in front of them over and over creatively in a non-annoying way through retargeting. So you've got to have kind of a broad message. So we certainly do that. And then you want to send them to what I would call a choose your own adventure landing page. If you've got different products or services, or you have different pain points that you help solve, if you haven't done micro content, if you're doing a broad ad to a broad audience, so you could send them to a landing page that has the different pain points or products or services or angles that might be interesting to them. And then you see what they engage with, and you can then retarget them based off of certain links they clicked or pages they visited, and you'll know what topic or pain point was important to them, and you can talk to them more about that same thing in your retargeting. So it's really powerful. But to get there, if you're starting from a broad audience and broad ad copy, you've got to send them to that choose your own adventure landing page. So have the different options on your landing page. Now, the second retargeting that we do that's strategic as part of step 2 is our micro content segmented retargeting. So this will piggyback off of what we did in step 1, where we did not only the broad ads, but also the micro content segmented ads to specific audiences. And in those ads, since they were very specific to a type of person or a pain point, we can then retarget those same people and stick to the same demographic or pain point that got them interested enough to click in the first place. And so the chances go way up. So these are really powerful retargeting strategies. A lot of people just randomly retarget without having a plan like this in place, and that's crazy. And then another retargeting that we do is what I would call an abandoned cart or abandoned lead or abandoned call retargeting, where you're retargeting somebody that got to the point where they could take an action, like buy something or sign up for a webinar or sign up for your lead magnet, but they didn't do it. They didn't finish. You can retarget those specific people and send them another offer. And that's super powerful. So if you focus on those 3 parts of retargeting, that is amazing. It's worked so well for us. So that is step 1 and step 2. The final step of this funnel is step 3, and that is our call to action. So for our call to action, what I recommend is that you always have just one primary thing that you want them to do. And what I mean by that is when they get where you want them to go, what's the desired action? Is it a phone call? Is it booking a call? Is it emailing you? Is it buying something or signing up for a webinar, downloading a lead magnet, or something else? What is the number one most important thing that you want them to do? Because what a lot of people do is they send them to a page or a website that has like 5 different options. And when you do that, it confuses people. And a lot of times when there's so many options, they choose nothing. But if there's only really one thing to do and one thing to choose, the likelihood of them doing that goes way up, especially if it's the right kind of person that got there in the first place. So don't make the mistake of having way too many choices. Stick to a simple, clear call to action and make it easy for them to act. I did want to mention that in our last step, where we were talking about broad retargeting to a page that has different options and pain points, That's different than the specific call to action that I'm talking about, where you should only have one thing. In the earlier step, we were identifying what people are most interested in as it relates to our product or service, whether it's product specific or pain point specific. Once you know what that is when the call to action comes in, and you're going to be sending them a specific offer. And that's when you give them one choice and only one choice to make on that page. And then the other thing that's important about calls to action is that whatever the call to action is, you want that to be seamless between the ad and your landing page or your sales page. So many times I'll see people run an ad, they'll get people excited about whatever they're talking about, and then they'll get the click over to their website to wherever they're sending them, but then it looks totally different than whatever the ad looked like, or the headline that was in the ad is nowhere on the landing page, and you're talking about totally different things. That's what I would call a mismatch. You want it to be seamless. So when you're running ads, yes, you could have one landing page, but what if you had a few different versions of that landing page where the stuff below the headline or the top part was the same, but at the top, you would change the headline to kind of match either the specific audience you're targeting or the pain point that you're focusing on in the ad. Your chances go way up. So if you have a simple call to action, nothing else to do, and it matches what the ad is talking about, you are going to be ahead of most advertisers. You're giving yourself a much better chance of success. So those 3 steps are insanely powerful. That's my ultimate 3-step Facebook ad funnel. Obviously, there's a lot of little things within this that you have to do right. And then you have to be good at evaluating what's happening once you're running these things. But start by doing these things in the first place and tracking them and doing a great job of putting them into action. Because when you do, that's where you start becoming much more strategic instead of just randomly running ads. So my friends, episode 314 is in the books. Make sure you listen next week. I got some cool stuff coming up for you. And if you want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I will talk to you next time. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.